What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Off the Top Rope, Off the Mic Sports Network. So the John Cena heel experiment is officially over. Some people thought that maybe what happened on Friday's SmackDown in the Go Home show leading into SummerSlam was going to be a ruse. It was not. John Cena is fully babyface again. We had the colors back, wrestled a clean fight, no hints at a heel turn, even in a street fight. And then he gets attacked by Brock Lesnar at the end, which totally cements, John Cena is going to be the mega babyface that we have known for years in his final few months here in WWE. I think he's got just upwards of about a dozen appearances left in his WWE career before he ultimately, leaves and retires in December. So in seeing what happened in this match, and, reflecting on the whole John Cena heel turn, basically lasted 5 months. Somewhere around, 100 some odd days, something like that. I don't have the official count. Did John Cena really need to turn heel? Did he? Did he really need to turn heel? Because the argument's there that maybe he shouldn't have. The idea and the concept of John Cena turning heel in his final year was actually kind of compelling. It was. Everybody wanted to see this happen for 20 years. John Cena finally turned heel. And, Cody Rhodes seemed like the perfect vehicle for John Cena to do that. Because, hey, John Cena, biggest babyface of yesteryear. Cody Rhodes, biggest babyface of the here and now. So, in theory, this should have worked. And for whatever reason, it didn't. And in my eyes, this is one of the biggest creative failures in WWE history. It really is. Because how they did not execute this, whether it's Cena just not willing to commit to the bit, the writing, or, the concepts of what they came up with, it didn't work. And it makes you wonder, should John Cena have turned heel in the first place? You see how the whole thing was executed on Sunday at SummerSlam? The argument's there. John Cena is good as a babyface, and they maybe never should have turned him heel. Because it didn't work. He was a whiny, moany bitch of a heel. It was absolutely everything that we did not want John Cena heel version of it to be. And what they did on Friday, basically just, calling out Rock and Travis Scott, basically not by name, but really we knew in plain English what they were talking about. And I don't know if that was John Cena speaking from the heart or if that was written, whatever it was. If I'm John Cena, I'm fucking livid, because this could have easily been one of the defining moments in WWE history. John Cena, after 22 years turning heel, should have been easily one of the biggest. It was honestly, the moment itself is going to live for a long time. We'll remember that. But the follow-up was god-awful. It's like, in some ways, I kind of think of it like, you guys remember when Stone Cold Steve Austin turned in the main event of WrestleMania 17, again, in aligning himself with Vince McMahon to beat The Rock? That moment itself was great. The follow-up to it wasn't very good. Kind of led to it fed into the invasion angle. There was a lot of not good stuff going on in 2001. Like WrestleMania 17 itself was one of the great pay-per-views of all time. But Stone Cold Steve Austin's heel turn at that moment was not great. The element of what happened in the shocking moment there was much like what we saw in Toronto earlier this year in March. But seeing how this match played out was the best John Cena that we have seen in a long time. That was the best John Cena match that I've seen in quite a bit. And yes, obviously the street fight element of it really helped, especially with John being this advanced into his age. But then you look at that and compare it to what they did at WrestleMania when John Cena was a full-on heel. It was like, my God, did we really need a heel John Cena in the first place? Like I said, the concept can be great, but it ultimately comes down to the execution and, what happened with the people in it. And whether it was, the lack of The Rock being there, that was a huge piece of this. Maybe if John turns at WrestleMania, maybe it lands a little bit better. But if this was the content that they were going to come up with, John Cena shouldn't turn at all. He shouldn't have. Because if we're being honest with ourselves, that didn't sound like an authentic John Cena for 5 months up until that promo on Friday Night SmackDown right before SummerSlam. That was not John Cena that we've seen for 20 years. That was not the guy that we've identified and the guy who has engaged an audience for so long. He was just barking and yelling at fans, and then he's bitching and moaning about a dysfunctional relationship. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Whoever's idea that was to conceive that should really be ashamed of himself. Like I said, Triple H, all the people involved, even John. I don't know if this was his idea to, come up with the concept of the John Cena heel character, but if this is the best that they were going to come up with, I'd be curious to know if this is really the vision that they had. And if they would have executed this at WrestleMania, if this is what they were going to do, I don't know if it would have landed any better, which is why I say I don't think he should have turned at all. It was a fun concept. Really. Something that we talked about in wrestling circles for decades, people. This was one of the most hot button issues during when Vince McMahon was in control, because everybody got tired of white meat babyface John Cena because he was always winning. And everybody's like, man, what would it feel like if John Cena turned heel? Because we saw what it did with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns wasn't as much of a white meat babyface. They tried to project him like that, and then he became the tribal chief. And Roman was able to make it work. John Cena as a heel, while fun in theory, really wasn't that great of an idea, especially in his final year. And I hate that we basically wasted 5 months on this crap. I hate it. Because seeing what him and Cody Rhodes did at SummerSlam makes you wonder, where the fuck was this? And they could have easily done this babyface versus babyface and found a way to make it interesting. They could have easily done that. If you wanted to turn him heel, don't do it in the build to WrestleMania. Have them be babyface versus babyface. But the more that I think about this, John Cena shouldn't have turned heel. He shouldn't have turned heel. It pretty much went against everything that this guy had been saying for 20 years. And in his retirement year, he just wants to go up and change everything. And then he didn't even change anything. He was just the same guy with all the merch and everything and all the custom merch. He was just a sourpuss. That wasn't good heel work. And I thought John would have it in him to do it. Whether it was bad writing, lack of commitment or something, or, hey, the key piece of this whole thing, Rock and Travis Scott, and I don't give a shit about Travis Scott, the fact that they weren't there kind of hurt this too. But Triple H has got to own this. John potentially has to own it too. Like, we don't know the full context of what happened. People within the WWE writing and the nature of that. Obviously, that WrestleMania match is going to be, and then Travis Scott being the reason that John Cena won his 17th title as a heel. God, I hate it. I hate it. Maybe John Cena can win a world championship on the way out and be an 18-time world champion so we can just completely and utterly forget about this. But the fact that was his last WrestleMania match. He did it as a heel, and he needed Travis Scott in a belt shot to win it. Thinking back on this whole thing, it just makes you infuriated. But, this is wrestling. Sometimes good decisions and bad decisions happen. And, we wasted 5 months of John Cena's final year. And, some people will say, hey, maybe this makes us appreciate him more as a babyface. Maybe you're right, because I will say this. When the colors came back in his entrance, that was fucking awesome. But I think the more that I think about this thing, man, I don't think he should have turned at all. And he should have just ended as a babyface, period, and should have never turned, period. So let me know if you guys agree. Twitter is up there in the upper left-hand corner of your screen. Subscribe to the channel, like, share, you can dislike, you can disagree with me, whatever. That's the beauty of this channel. But thanks so much to everybody who subscribed here. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.